Hey Dorian, we have your 2007 S550 over here up on the hoist, and we were just going to show you the rear sway bar bushings are out of place. The left rear sway bar bushing is actually in place. It's not really dislodged like the right side is. You can see that the bushing is in this area where the rear sway bar is. It's actually not dislodged from its area, and that the rear sway bar link is got a gap where I can put my fingers through it. So the main reason why we need to change the rear sway bar is because this is the left side, but on the right side the rear sway bar is touching the upper control arm right here, and I can't get my hand through there. So it's because the sway bar has shifted to the right side. There's nothing wrong with the sway bar link in the rear. It's actually the rear sway bar bushing that's actually shifted off to the right. You can see this is the actual bushing, and the bracket that holds it in place is not holding the bushing inside. So the whole sway bar has been shifted to the right side. We're not sure why this happened. Maybe somebody took a turn way too hard, or the wheel hit the curb, but we don't see any physical damage on the wheels for that to happen. But either way, the sway bar has been dislodged and the bushing's pushed out to the right, and it's forcing the sway bar link to be pushed against the right rear upper control arm, which is causing a knocking noise when you go over bumps. So we're going to go ahead and put a new sway bar in because they don't give replacement bushings for the sway bar, and we're going to drop part of the rear subframe to put the new sway bar in, and we're going to show you part of the procedure to do this. Hey Dorian, we dropped the rear subframe, and I just wanted to show you what we can have a better view here of what the rear sway bar bushing looks like. It's dislodged, and it's caused the whole sway bar to shift to the right, and just wanted to show you a better view of where the bushing's at. And we're going to go ahead and put the new sway bar in with the new bushings. They don't sell these bushings separately. You have to buy a whole new sway bar, and we got the sway bar ready to be put on. But before we put it on, I just wanted to show you what it looked like with the rear subframe dropped. And now that everything's loosened up, this sway bar is no longer touching here, but we have almost everything apart, and we're going to go ahead and put the new sway bar in just a few minutes. We're practically finished here, and I just wanted to show you what that right side bushing looked like. Okay, over here we have the sway bars on the floor. You can see the new one here is ready to be put back onto this car, and here's the old one. So you can see the sway bar bushing's dislodged, and that one's dislodged, but these aren't. They're glued into place, and the bracket's there. And the reason why the dealer, I guess, doesn't sell these new is because they're actually glued onto the sway bar, and if we try and push these back into position, there's a good chance they would probably become dislodged again, and then the same issue would happen. So that's why we're putting a new sway bar in, and we're ready to put the new one on the car. Okay, we have the car up in the air, and we're about to put the subframe in. I just want to show what we had to remove in order to put this sway bar in position. We had to remove the rear brake calipers. We had to remove the cable sensors. There's two of them on each side. They have to be disconnected and removed. We had to remove the rear shocks from the rear subframe lower control arm. We also had to remove the rear axle level sensor, which is this sensor right here, from the sway bar. We had to remove this sensor that's right here, located right here. We had to disconnect. We had to also disconnect the rear cable for the gas door, and there's an electronic box right here that controls the rear gas door, and this cable right here is part of that. It goes all the way to the gas door, and this cable is the lock for the rear gas door, so we had to disconnect the rear gas door lock. There's some more sensors on this side that we had to disconnect. There's 3 cables on this side that we had to disconnect, and we had to remove the rear subframe mount bolts. There's a bolt here. There's about 4 of them that hold it up in place, and we also had to remove the rear drive shaft from the differential. And we also had to remove the rear exhaust system. The exhaust system is missing and it's not on the car, so we could drop the rear subframe, and we put it outside and it's right there. So that's what we had to remove too. And right now we're just putting everything back together in order to get the car going again. Also forgot to mention that the rear wheels and the rear wheel covers had to come off. This is the cover that goes inside the wheel housing, and these wheel housing covers have to be removed in order to put these cables, these 3 cables, on that connector. So we have to remove the whole cover for the wheel housings off the car as well.